All right, we are live here on the Voice of College Football Penn State channel. We're 1-0. Mission accomplished.
Well, check one off the board here. That's as simple as that. Check one off the board. Yeah, not a bad start to the season here. I think I missed both the marks on my end, but that's okay. A win is a win.
Yeah, Penn State defeats Nevada 46-11 with a very late Nevada touchdown and 2-point conversion to make it a little closer than what it seemed.
A smidge closer. But all in all, the defense today, I think if we're going to have one takeaway today, I think this defense is firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, already, especially BDS. Like, that guy was a monster today.
Yeah, I couldn't believe what he was doing out there. That was next level.
Yeah, looking at his stats, he had
bodies, as they said.
Yeah, he had 5 tackles, 1 sack, 2 forced fumbles. Like, any time he was out there, basically, like, they couldn't block him.
Yeah, he was an absolute issue all game.
And, I mean, Drew looked really good today. Really good.
The one thing that we were talking about was, can he spread the ball around? Oh, boy, did he spread the ball around.
Yeah, I'm looking here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different guys caught balls today.
Oh, my God.
Which, that's perfect. And the 2 leading receivers, Kyron Hudson, Trevor Pena. Just what we wanted to see. Like, just what we wanted. Get the new wide receivers in play here.
And they looked good. I'll tell you what, they looked crisp. And if I could describe the offense in one word, it just looked fast today. We were cooking. They were moving.
Yeah, a lot more no huddle than what we're used to. They kind of got a little speedier toward the end of last year, but there was nothing slow and methodical about these drives.
No, they was bang, bang, bang football from start to end there.
Yeah, Drew was super efficient, 22 for 26, 217 yards, 1 touchdown, 6 carries, 20 yards. Actually, second leading rusher. Not exactly what you want to see.
Yeah, I think I lost that bet. Just a little bit. If anybody watched the show yesterday. Cash out can be at some point.
I think that's like, I don't know, against Nevada, the only problems are to be really nitpicky, but both of us really thought the running game would be a lot stronger than what it was.
I didn't see the bodies moving that I thought I was going to see today, but I did see amazing pass protection. So I wasn't upset about that. But I thought I was going to see a lot of holes opening up. I thought there was a couple opportunities for a couple big break plays, and they got jammed up. But the running game, I said, not to be, to be nitpicky because, of how good this game was for us. Yeah, I'm going to need to see a lot more improvement on the run game, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Like, the longest rush today was 13 yards, and that was by Pena, not even by one of the running backs.
Yeah, now, that could be one of two things. Did Nevada completely strategize for the run game, expecting, and, maybe they executed their strategy, but if a team like Nevada is going to execute their strategy on the run game against us, that doesn't bode well for an Ohio State, a Michigan, a team of that caliber.
Yeah, we're talking about a Nevada team that gave over 200 yards rushing a game last year. Like the average gave that up last year. Penn State finished with 135 yards rushing today.
Yeah, didn't like that.
No.
So that's
We weren't, like you said, we weren't moving the bodies like we were hoping to.
no. But you know what? Looking at Nevada's D line, they weren't as undersized as I thought or anything like that. Those guys were pretty big. I thought going around there. I didn't see anything too, small about them. But at the end of the day, we're going to need to see a little bit more. I would say out of the running backs more than the offensive line.
Yeah. It was just, hopefully it's just an outlier, just first game, because I mean they didn't really get a chance to get any rhythm either because Katron and Singleton, they both only had 8 carries. So, you could attribute to, just not getting that rhythm going and, not getting the carries they need to break one or wear them down. But we weren't really seeing those, 10-yard bursts either where, 10 yards here, 8 yards here, 10 yards here. Everything was kind of a slog.
Hey, I think you could also weigh that down to where we were, like position-wise, going onto the field a few different times too, though. There were a couple drives where we were in real short yardage situations. You didn't need a lot from them. So if you can get us 3 here, 2 there, then we just go over the top for a pass. It's an easy way to do it. But I mean, one thing that surprises me when looking at the score is that Drew Aller only threw for 1 touchdown.
Well, on the flip side, Singleton had 2 rushing touchdowns and Katron had 1. So, I mean, got inside the goal line, let the running backs finish the job.
As much as we are complaining about the running backs, they did amount for 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, besides the rushing game not really getting going as much as we thought, the only other really critique I had is we did have a short field 3 times because of turnovers and kick return, and we only ended up with field goals on those drives. We were not able to punch it in.
That was a little concerning, but at the end of the day, I'm still, you know what? That's free points if you really think about it, and it's smarter no matter how you look at it. Take the points because you aren't going to get them anyway before, and then keep going. So I think it's also the beginning of the season, so, we still have a little to work on there. But at the end of the day, I agree. I'd like to see the ball in the end zone, but I'm also not upset with us, converting turnovers into points.
Yeah. I mean, shout out Ryan Barker, like holding down the kicking position, 4 for 4 today on field goals and 3 extra points. Like, guy is as solid as he comes right now. As solid as it comes right now. Like, not a worry for Penn State, really.
Well, yeah, no. But I did have some worries. Speaking of special teams, as one of my other worries is our kickoffs. There were a couple different times where the Nevada got a couple big breaks. They were getting 30, 35-yard gains on these kickoffs. And I don't know if that's if they're just maybe a strong special teams team or if they saw something. But that's something that Penn State's going to have. I mean, when you give it up, when the ball's getting placed on the 35, when the ball's getting placed on the 40, you're not doing yourself any favors.
Yeah, definitely not what you want to see, like when we go against Oregon or Iowa or Ohio State. And typically we usually see touchbacks. Like, that's what we're accustomed to, and didn't really see that a whole lot today.
No, it seemed like the kicks seemed a little shorter, but I always forget that kickoff guy's name. But God, I love just seeing his. Shout out to the larger kickers out there. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Watching that boy Lover out there. There it is. Thank you. Shout out to Gabe going out there and just kicking bombs and just waiting for that one moment where he can just lay the hat on somebody.
Yeah, for sure. Penn State, he's been here a few years now, so, it was kind of odd to see. Maybe they were, just working on things too,
Yeah, 100%.
Well, also nice to see King Mack get involved on the kick return.
That was fun.
I thought he was going to house it there for a minute, but still a long 73-yard kick return that put us in, short field, but we only got 3 out of it, like we said before. But I like it because we don't have to have Nick back there, where Nick Singleton's been back there pretty much since his freshman year. Like, let's save a couple hits for not on special teams.
Yeah, those are high impact hits. It's good to let's go and diversify those a little bit between the team, as they say.
Yeah, I was happy to see King Mac make a difference there. Just looking through stats here. Dom DeLuca had a sack. Duane Lane had a sack. This defense, there wasn't too many blown assignments for it being a new defensive scheme.
Yeah, defense looked tip top for sure. They looked like they were firing on all cylinders coming out of the gates today, from start to finish. It was bodies on ball, bodies flying around. You couldn't. For this being the first week, I could only see this defense getting better and improving, and so I think this is a real good starting off point to be at the beginning of the season here.
Yeah, and if you look, the really only thing you can critique is they let the quarterbacks get some rushing yards against them, but mobile quarterbacks are tough, no matter who they are.
Oh, Chubba was running for his life today.
He led Nevada with 55 yards rushing.
Kid can move. You know what? I was rather surprised by how quick he was. I think it might have been the mid-first quarter, or it might have been their second drive. They put up a really good drive, Nevada. That's where they were firing all cylinders, and they looked good. They got down into the red zone, settled for a field goal, and then that's where I got a little concerned. The defense seemed to feel the same way I did, because they decided, okay, yeah, we're not going to let that happen. We're done here.
Yeah, I'm trying to do some math in my head here. If you take what the actual Nevada running backs did, 16 carries for 11 yards is what the 4 running backs that saw carries did.
Okay.
So your traditional running game, Penn State was stout.
Love that. Okay, good. But once again, that's just the defense being good. It's hard to plan for the unpredictability of a quarterback. So you have to make, so that one's, you got to throw that one out the window. But, if you can traditionally, keep them under, the idea is to keep them under 100, keep them under 20. That's not bad.
Yeah, for sure. I think, let's see. Total, they held them to 78 total yards rushing, because both quarterbacks had some rushing yards. Like the top two, Purdy with 55, the backup quarterback Bianco had 12, top running back had 10 yards.
All right, well, gotta love sticking it to the run game there. So that's a good start for this season, plugging holes.
Yeah, for sure. And then you always gotta love winning the turnover battle. 3 turnovers. Penn State played clean, had 0 turnovers. Did have a couple penalties where had 5 penalties total. The last delay of game at the very end was kind of bogus. So I think even in Franklin's mind, he'll count 4, but that's not too bad.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw at the end of the game, due to that delay of game, he gave the ref a little how you doing there. Let him know, hey, what that call right there. What are we doing here? I can't. Yeah. First of all, let's just finish the game. By the way, guys, come on. Yes, the refs blew a few calls today. If we're gonna be completely fair, the refs blew a few calls today.
Yeah, first game for them too.
First game for them too, but Big Ten refs. I want Big Ten, refs.
Yeah. And I don't know if did you watch the Ohio State Texas game?
I did.
Those were SEC refs, and it felt like every call went Ohio State's way.
It was very interesting to watch that game. Big question mark over Arch Manning's head in my book right now.
It did not look good.
No, it did not. I'm not sure what we're going to see there over in Arlington. Is that where they where the University of Texas? Austin, whatever, close enough.
Started with
no. Yeah, I thought that was, but the big game over the weekend for me or today was Alabama going down to Florida State and getting tossed around.
Right. I mean, we're already SEC. Two of their top teams have already fallen.
Now, time for me to start asking questions here, because I almost choke on my own spit. Does Ohio State get put at number one for playing a haphazard win game against Texas, or they're going to go and mosey on up their Penn State to the old number one spot for putting on almost a flawless game?
I think there's a little bit of an argument to put Penn State number one, but I think just because the voters ranked Texas number one and Ohio State beat them, I think it's just a flop. Ohio State goes up.
We'll see. But that's what I'm curious to see on Tuesday, because by the time our show comes on, which is Tuesdays at 9:30 Eastern, shameless plug, we'll have the rankings, so we'll be able to have we'll have some great stuff to talk about there.
I would almost rather not be number one until after we beat Oregon, or let's make us earn it.
Well, you can't ask the other teams to win games they can't win. So if teams keep losing and we keep winning, I don't know what to tell you.
That is true. But yeah, I think for sure, I'd almost want to go with a certainty that Ohio State moves into number one.
We just nestle right in. We just hang out in our little 2 spot here and move on to our next victim.
I'm looking at the scores here for the rest of the teams in the Big Ten. I only see one loss, and that was Northwestern against Tulane.
And that was a mollywhopping.
Kind of surprising. Indiana didn't look super great against Old Dominion. So good thing they did schedule their cupcake schedule, because they weren't looking as strong as this.
I'll tell you what, though. I got the old 6-caster on the TV, so I had that one on the bottom right. Old Dominion looked good. I don't know if it was
former Penn State.
I don't know if it was more of a Kurt Signetti Indiana team not looking well, or Old Dominion looked crisp.
Yeah, I just Indiana had a lot of turnover for roster because they brought in so many older transfers last year. So, and a new quarterback. So, I mean, it's when you gamble that hard in the transfer portal, you never quite know how it's going to go.
Exactly. You're already taking kids who have left a school once. What's to say they're not going to leave a school again?
Yeah, and just you don't know if they truly fit with your scheme and how everybody's going to gel together, because chemistry is a big thing too.
Oh, it's huge. It's a massive indicator.
And I'm going to bring it back. I like the chemistry between Drew and the wide receivers. Bring it back to Penn State.
There was one play, I think it was right around the end of the second, where Drew stepped into the pocket and threw and now it was an incompletion, but I don't know if you remember this. He threw an absolute missile. I think it was, I think it might have been to Penn, and he was a little up and to the right, just barely missed it. But even the announcers on the TV were like, "Oh, he stepped into that one." And
yeah, like you could hear that one whistling.
It probably sounded like one of those Vortex footballs from back in the day.
Yeah,
sorry,
and then, I mean,
headphones.
Right. And I know, like last year, we saw a lot of like those outside patterns where Drew overthrew him or timing wasn't quite right. He hit Hudson on a few of those today where they were just spot on, wide open, first down. Like
on dimes.
That's what we were missing last year, is hey, just let's go get a first down right here. Like,
you know what? He let his hair grow out a little bit. You know, Drew's got a little more swagger now. He's letting the hair flow down a little bit. He's letting people know, I am him. I can be him. Watch this. Watch this little. Oh, you guys thought we were going to rush for 237 yards today? No. Watch this. Right over the top.
yeah, I mean, Penn State with Grunkmeyer, QB2 coming in. They did eclipse the 300-yard passing mark, which when you have a rushing game like Penn State doesn't need to happen a whole lot, but they did need that today because the rushing game couldn't quite get going.
And to piggyback on Grunkmeyer looked good under back there. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I didn't think he
7 of 9 for 86 yards.
I'll tell you something funny. I went to the bathroom when they put him in, and so I sat back down, and it took me I heard his name, but it probably took me 3 or 4 plays to go, wait, that's not Drew. So because the way he was playing, he like seamlessly just fit in, and so I was just sitting there going, wait a minute, that's not. Wait, what is that? And then I heard Grunkmeyer. I was like, oh, I'm an idiot.
And then looking at the stats, tight ends really didn't get involved, but I almost think that was kind of by design. Like, we need the on-field chemistry in rhythm with the wide receivers if we're going to beat Oregon. Like, the receivers need to be locked in by that Oregon game, and the tight ends will get theirs.
Yeah, they'll find theirs, but you got to make sure that you have to. I agree with what you're saying. You need to establish your relationship with your wide receivers first before you start feeding your tight ends, because you want that outside in presence. You don't want that inside out presence, especially with the run game that we have. We want man coverage on the outside. We don't want them sitting in zones. We want to be able to run the ball right up the middle if we want. So, if you got two tight ends going up the middle trying to do their thing, that kind of takes that away. But, like you said, 10 different people touched the ball today, which is, if I would have told you last year that was going to happen, you'd be like, we're all 10 people named Tyler Warren?
Yeah, to piggy off, we know what tight ends can do in the Colton-Nicky offense. We don't know what receivers can do based off of last year. Like, I feel like that's going to be a point of emphasis today and the next 2 games. Is point of emphasis is going to be, let's get these wide receivers on tape. Like, let's show that we are using the wide receivers. The wide receivers are capable. Like, our wide receivers are a real legitimate threat this year. And then we can get back to some of the bread and butter tight end stuff.
I completely agree, and we know that from last year that tight ends can be effective in this offense. So it was nice to see the wide receivers. And I think this might have been more of a Colton-Nicky thing. Like you said, I think this might have been almost by design, where he goes, okay, you guys want to say that we're not getting the ball, the wide receivers enough. Well, we're going to rush for 70 yards and throw for 300. Okay. So hold on a second.
Yeah. I mean, they did get Nick involved in the pass game. He had 4 catches as well, which that's kind of been the norm since last year too, is getting him the ball in space. We did see a lot more motion with the receivers and the swing screens, that type of stuff, than we did last year. But I think a lot of that's just, hey, let's get the wide receivers going.
100%. And I mean, I can't say we didn't see it today. It was literally right there. And I was very impressed with how the offense was ran today. I think, like we said, we're beating a dead horse here, minus the rushing, which I think will come. I think that just, and it's a team like this, a lower ranked team, I think it's easier to pass. You have good, especially you've got these 2 guys who you've scouted, who you've transferred from other teams. You're going to have 2 dogs on the outside. So I think this was more of, the offense just seeing what they had out there as opposed to really honing in on the run game yet, because I don't think they really needed to.
Yeah, I mean, we ended last season with the infamous, the wide receivers didn't catch a single pass. We had 16 receptions by receivers today.
Go ahead and throw that old script out.
Right, like that's what needed to happen Week 1, 1-0. No real injuries that I can recall. I don't remember seeing anybody, getting injury timeout or limping off really. And I mean, that's 1-0 health. That's the goals right now.
Yep. Walk out of that game, no injuries, feeling good, heads high. That's really all you can ask for right now.
If you're looking ahead to FIU, they are 1-0. They defeated their week 1 opponent yesterday, I believe. So that's what we got looking forward, and hopefully we can get that running game going a little bit more. But I'm good with slinging the ball across the field too.
If we want to be a bunch of gunslingers, I'm not against it. You know what? We want to air it out, let everybody get a touch. It'll be a different look than what we're used to the past few years, but it'll be a welcoming look. I mean, I'm not against a 48-yard touchdown pass by any means.
Yeah. And like you said, you don't see a possible way for where this rushing attack won't get going.
Oh, no, especially because of how good the offensive line looked in the past. It wasn't like they weren't moving. Maybe, it's first game, you're playing Nevada. Maybe the O-line had a little too much fun last night. And next thing you know, they're like, all right, guys, we're not pushing bodies today. We're going to hunker down. Just give Drew all day.
Yeah, because I definitely think the passing protection was better than the rush blocking for sure.
Yes.
And like you said, it's the running game's going to be there for us. It has to be with everything that came back. The running attack isn't going anywhere.
No, I think it's just more of a slow roll here. It's a slow burn. You got to start. We're starting. They got to get to the point. It's going to take a few more games to get the engines running.
Yeah, we just need to, the little like bubble on the lawnmower that you push to prime the engine. We just need to prime that engine the first 3 games.
Just keep pushing the bubble.
So when we pull that string against Oregon, it's ready to run.
And maybe this is by design. Don't overwhelm them. Just gonna get them into it, especially now after what we saw with the wide receivers can do. Now you can definitely, if you need to, take your time. There's no reason why you don't.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that'll do it for us on our first post-game show.
All right,
as we kind of roll into this season here, week 1 for us too for postseason shows. So
we will more than likely do the press conference on Tuesday. Okay. Yep, because I didn't see anything pressing to do today. So yeah, guys, so stay tuned. Tuesday we'll be doing the press conference. We're going to start getting ready for next week. Want to know? Very excited to start here.
And we should have a guest on Tuesday from Florida International Beat.
FIUB.
Yep, FIU. There's a beat reporter that I reached out to that said he would join us. So I'm not going to throw any names out there just in case it does fall through, but we should have a special guest just like we had Chris Murray on, which dude was great and pretty much played out exactly how he said too.
Literally to the point where I think everything he said to watch for, we watched for. And it was shout out to Chris. That was a real fun insight that he gave us. So if you guys didn't see that, definitely check out our previous episode where he was on. And if you guys, if you're ever in the Nevada area and you know anything about Nevada sports, definitely that's your man right there.
Yes, for sure. So we'll end it on that, and we will see you guys on Tuesday at 9:30.